So today I'm going to show you real quick how we process images for PatchVault. We have things coming in at very high resolution. So this is a 600 dpi scan of two Kecoughtan Lodge X issues. They're honor members, X3 and X4 respectively. And what we need to do on any given image here is make sure the levels are right, knock out this background, get it up to a full white, and then paste it into a special sized image maker in Photoshop and save those out as 3200 pixel max dimension PNGs that we then upload into the system. So I've got the front and I've got the back here of that. And we are going to see some issues here because we have this wonderful white border, and white on white will always give us some problems. So this is not just the easy way to do it, which this left side will be, but we're going to have some problems here we'll have to work on. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and do an adjustment for levels. And I'm going to look here and I want to pull down the whites on the whole image down to about probably 235, right where this goes the hard knee here. So 235. We're going to do that on both of them. Probably about the same. This one's, yep, 235. And then we're going to go over here and use our magic wand tool. And I've set the tolerance to 64. I find that gets it about where I want it with the shadows that come in from the scanner. So you'll see here on the left, this is pretty good. That's about what we want. But we've picked up a whole bunch of the mirroring here on this side. So I'm going to hold down on this and change to the quick selection tool. And I've got this thing. Right now this is in add mode, but if I hold down option, it changes to a minus sign, and that means I'm going to subtract from the selection. So I'm going to carefully go in here and start pulling out the stuff that we do not want, that is actually part of the patch and not the background. And sometimes, especially when you get right up along the edge here, this can be a bit of a pain in the backside, just because it jumps out like that. And so every once in a while, it'll kind of readjust it and try and be smart about it. But there's certain flaps, especially if you have kind of not a smooth edge or a chenille, where this becomes a real difficult thing to do, and it just takes time. And sometimes it's even better to actually use a vector shape, but that's beyond the scope. So we've got more than we want, so I'm going to change back to the plus. I'm going to come here and try and squeeze this back in a little bit. There, and here. And that's looking pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to feather the edge. So we're going to smooth the edge out of the background. So we go under Select, Modify, Feather, and we do about 25 pixels. We found works pretty well. And now we've only selected the white of the background. So we're going to go back into Adjustments, Levels, and we're going to pull all of this down to about 200. And now we can use Command D or Control D, depending, and we've deselected. And now our background is knocked out. We're going to do the same here on the back. And it'll have similar issues with the right side versus the left. But not as bad as the front. And if we don't do this, we end up knocking out we end up lightening the mirroring itself, which is definitely something we don't want to do. So again, I'm going to go and feather that. I'm just going faster with the key commands that time. So we've got those pretty good. We'll notice down here we've got a little bit of dirt coming off the edge here, and we're going to use the healing brush real quick to just kind of knock that out. And see if there's anything else we see like that. It looks pretty good. All right. So now that we've done our initial clean, I tend to save these back. So if we ever need to go to the original source files again, they've already been scrubbed. I'm going to select my square marquee and highlight the patch that I want and copy. I'm going to go to my square maker because it's an X and it's taller than it is wide, and paste it. I'm going to go now to image, sorry, edit free transform, and this is going to give me handles now. And so I can see this is kind of rotated a few degrees to the right. I'm going to kind of straighten that out a little bit. I'm going to bring it into the center, and then I'm going to hold down the Option key when I grab the corner handle, and Option Shift keeps it from resizing. It keeps the ratio the same. And I'm going to get it right till it touches the guides, these blue lines here and here. That way, it kind of maximizes the size on screen. I'm also going to name the layer. So I'm going to use the combined for the lodge, which is 463A. I'm going to use the issue number, which is X3. And I'm going to say it's the front or the back. And now we're going to go ahead and get the back and do the same. We're going to do the free transform again. And again, I'm using the key commands. Command T gives you free transform. Hold down Option and Shift, and grab a handle, and get that into place. Let's bring that in a little bit. And kind of make sure that the sizes are about the same. Yep. I'm going to rename it 463A X3 back. And now what we're going to do, make sure all our other layers are off. We don't want sometimes there's a little piece that'll shine through. So we always want to make sure we only are using the layer that we're saving out. And so we're going to go into Save for Web, which is now here, export. And these are being saved out. So it's 3,200 pixels square. We want to do PNG 24. That means it won't be compressed or anything from the sense of like a JPEG would give you kind of noise. The server itself is going to reprocess this into certain sizes and use JPEG compression and stuff there, but we want our source file to be as high quality as possible. So we'll save this. And again, I go into my folder here, and we're going to save it as the combined 463A. X3 is the issue, front. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to change it over to the back. I'm going to save again using the key command, in this case, which is Command Option Shift S. Save 463A X3 back. And we're done. Now we're going to go over and we'd upload these through our issue form. So that's how we do image processing for PatchVault.